Hey guys, Haley here from The Foiled Plan. I am so excited because today I'm going to be showing you how Brady and I built this awesome pegboard for my craft room. I'm going to try and break it down and make it as easy to follow as possible, so hopefully you guys can make one for your creative space too. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so you're going to need a 1/4 sheet of raw pegboard material, which is 2 feet by 4 feet, 3 2-foot long pieces of 1 inch by 2 inch wood, screws, a screwdriver or drill, measuring tape and level, as well as hooks and accessories. Other things that are optional include painting supplies, a piece of trim, and a miter box with a handsaw. So I chose to get raw pegboard because it's a heck of a lot cheaper than buying it already white, and I already had white paint, so I figured I could just do it myself and save a couple bucks. So I got my 1/4 sheet of pegboard. They pre-cut it at my local home hardware home building center, so I didn't have to cut anything, which was nice. Then I just took my Benjamin Moore white paint that I use for trim and used a roller to lay down a layer of white paint, as you can see that I am doing right now. I also made sure to get the edges of the pegboard because I didn't want that raw, brown to be showing anywhere. I also feel like I should mention that when you go to whatever home renovation store you're going to get raw pegboard, don't tell them that you need a full sheet of it, because I thought this was a full sheet, and you can imagine my surprise when I got the price for a full sheet, and this is actually only a 1/4 sheet. So you just need a 2 foot by 4 foot piece of raw pegboard. Another little trick when you're doing multiple coats on a project: throw your roller and your paint tray into a kitchen garbage bag and tie it up so no air is getting into it. You can even leave it overnight and it won't dry out. Then you can come back to your project later and give it another coat, which is exactly what I did next. You can see it's kind of spotty throughout the whole piece. So I did another coat, and I think I only showed 2 coats in this video, but I did end up doing a 3rd coat. It's completely up to you though. You don't even have to use paint at all if you A, got a white piece of pegboard, or B, are cool with the raw look. This was a pretty cheap project to make because this raw pegboard was under $10 to buy, and the 1x2 pieces of wood that you'll see here, they were only like $1.50 a piece because I found them in like a scrap wood section. But yeah, they worked out really nicely. So I went ahead and I painted those as well because those are going to be the supports behind the pegboard that actually go into the wall. And you needed 3 of them because you need 1 on each end and then also 1 directly in the center because there's not enough support if you only have 1 on either side. So I just went ahead and painted those because, again, I didn't want any wood showing through. To be honest though, I only gave these pieces of wood 1 coat of paint because it is a light wood and you can just barely see them through the holes of the pegboard. And I'm also really lazy, so I just only did 1 coat. Then we measured the wall and found the center point because that's where I wanted my pegboard to be. We figured out the perfect height, and then what we did was pop the 1x2 piece of wood behind the pegboard on the left-hand side, and we drilled in through the pegboard, through the 1x2, and directly into the wall with a long screw. We only did that top corner and that was it because I wanted to be able to adjust the other end to make the pegboard level. So next we got the 1x2 on the other end and set the level on top of the whole piece. Figured out where it needed to be so that it was level, and then we popped a screw in to that right top corner. Once that was done, we were good to screw in the bottom corners of the pegboard and move on to the center support. So I slid that last piece of 1x2 behind the pegboard And in order to find the center spot where I wanted that support to be, I counted in from each side just to make sure there was the same amount of holes on either side of that support. Then Brady screwed that in, and we ended up using 9 screws total to screw the pegboard to the wall. We did 3 along the top, and then 3 through the center, and then 3 along the bottom. So this is what the board looks like when you've reached this stage of the project. Now this next step is 100% optional. You could be completely done at this stage, but we found a random piece of trim in our workroom and decided to see if we could make it work to frame the whole pegboard, and it ended up working out really nicely. So what we did was we took this one piece of trim, measured it to make sure it was going to work, and we cut out 2 sections that were 2 feet long and 2 sections that were 4 feet long. First, we cut the pieces on a straight line and just made sure that we had those 4 foot long and 2 foot long pieces. And then once we knew that we had those, that's when we took those pieces and cut each end to be a 45-degree angle so that everything would fit together sort of like a picture frame. Using a miter box for projects like this honestly makes cutting angles so much easier. We got this when we bought our house, and I can't even tell you how many times we have used this miter box since we bought it. It's a lifesaver, and I totally recommend getting one. And as you can see, everything fits perfectly together. The reason that it works out is because you have those 45-degree angles on each end of the piece of trim, and when you get a 45-degree angle meeting up with another 45-degree angle, what does that give you? Math. And also it gives you a 90-degree angle, which is perfect for a framed corner. Now, in order to do this properly, we attached the top piece, then the bottom, and then each of the side pieces. And Brady used his nail gun to attach each piece, but if you don't have a nail gun, that's okay. You can still use small nails, and that will do the trick. Then, when the trim was all up, Brady used his punch to hammer the nails in just a little bit further. And once all of the nails had been punched in so that they were below the surface of the trim, we took white wood filler and went around to each nail just to fill it in a little bit so that we could give it that finished look. Once that wood filler was dried, I took that white paint that I used to initially paint the pegboard, and I just touched up the trim because it was looking a little bit dull next to that nice bright white that was on the pegboard itself. Side note, if you've ever been curious as to why I wear a toque in a lot of my videos, it's because my hair is naturally very light colored, but I dye it black, and my hair grows so fast that my roots are always horrendous. So, the more you know. Anyways, so this is how Brady and I built the pegboard for my craft room. Now, if you're not framing yours, you could definitely do this for under $20, but I think one piece of trim is usually around $30, so that will up your price. I just think it finishes it off really nicely, so that's why we decided to do it. And like I said, we just found a random piece of trim hanging around, so it worked out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, give it a like, thumbs up, that whole thing, you know. And if you attempted to make this pegboard after watching this tutorial, I would love to hear about it. So drop me a comment below or head over to any of my other socials and say hi, and just let me know that you did something and that I helped you, because, you know, I'm interested. Okay, cool. That's all I'm gonna say. Bye.